What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome back to another video here on Peg City Hockey. Now, today we're going to be talking about the backup goaltending position because that has been an area of criticism that has been directed towards the Winnipeg Jets this entire offseason, and because of the fact that they don't really have a backup goaltender next year. As it stands currently on the date of the 28th of August when I'm recording this video, Eric Comrie is the leading contender to be the NHL Jets backup goaltender for next season. And obviously, if you're a fan of the Jets, a fan of the Moose, and you know anything about Eric Comrie, that is not a very good option to have if you're an NHL competing team to win the Stanley Cup, because Eric Comrie is not very good, especially at the NHL level. If we're talking about the AHL, he's always been solid, but at the NHL level, what we've seen from him in the past, it's not warranted him being able to earn a permanent fixture at a backup goaltending position. Now, what can the Jets do to fix the backup goaltending position? Well, the first thing they could do is potentially use Mikhail Burton as the backup instead of Eric Comrie. Now, if you're not too unfamiliar with Mikhail Burton, I've talked about him a lot on the channel, but I'll just give a brief explanation of who he is. He is a goaltending prospect currently that has spent most of his time with the Manitoba Moose as well as St. Petersburg over with the KHL. He's a very interesting player because not only does he have good stats right now, but he can improve on them. So rushing him to the NHL is like the only reason why I'm not making this video about why Burton should be the backup over Eric Comrie, because as it stands right now, I think letting Burton play next season with Arvid Holm on the Moose could be much more beneficial to his growth and development. Therefore, I think the Jets should go out and sign one of these two potential veteran goaltenders that has had a lot of experience in the NHL, who are on the definitely decline, but as a backup goaltending position to have the experience that these guys have, I think it could be very, very good for the Jets, and not to mention the fact it will be cheap. The Jets right now have almost no cap, so that if they're going to find a backup goaltender option, they're going to need to do it effectively and cost effectively. So finding either one of these two guys, getting them on a contract, could be very beneficial for the Winnipeg Jets. Now, obviously, by the title of this video, you already know who I'm talking about: Devin Dubnyk and Curtis Mcleaney. Now, we're going to first start off talking about Devin Dubnyk because, as you guys know, as Jets fans, we've seen a lot of Devin Dubnyk when he spent most of his time being actually good and competent with the Minnesota Wild, as they are a division rival, a team we actually even saw in the playoffs, and saw a little bit of Devin Dubnyk in the playoffs as well, way back when in 2018, when we were able to beat them in 5 games, advancing to the second round to play the Nashville Predators. Devin Dubnyk was pretty solid in that playoff run. Obviously, he had that collapse in Game 5, but avoiding that completely, we're going over to talk only about his stats the last few years. Now, I decided to go back for the last 4 years, for actually 3 years for Devin Dubnyk, going to 2018-19 to talk about his stats then on the decline, because I think it gives a good picture of how bad he's really fallen off since 2018-19. 2018-19, in 67 games played, he was able to put up a record of 31 and 28. So nothing fantastic at all, with a save percentage of .913 and a goals against average of .254. Now, those aren't by any means amazing amazing goaltending stats, even for a starter. And that's exactly what happened with Devin Dubnyk, and that became the trend. The year after that, in 2019-20, playing only 30 games for the Wild, having a record of 12 and 15, a goals against average of .890, and a save percentage of .335. That's where the decline really starts. The next year after that, he plays with 17 games played with the San Jose Sharks, putting up a record of 3 and 9, an .898 goals against average with a goals against save percentage with a goals against of .318, and then you get over to him being traded at the deadline to the Colorado Avalanche, being able to play 5 games there with a record of 3 and 2, goals against average of 326, the highest it's been in a long time, with a save percentage of .886, also the lowest he's had in a very long time. Now, obviously, that is a goaltender on the decline, but again, what makes him potentially a good fit for the Jets is that you're not going to need Devin Dubnyk to even play 17 games for the Winnipeg Jets potentially. And I know that sounds crazy, but Connor Hellebuyck functions best at a high workload. He's a guy that needs a lot of shots to face in a game, at least we've seen in the past, even though I hope our defense makes that a less of a pass thing more than it being a present. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to say, let me get my thoughts out properly, is that if Devin Dubnyk is given the type of situation, the exact fit on a team where he can thrive in a limited amount of games, I think it could be a good fit. Also, for some reason, the Jets have a tendency of being able to take a goaltender that has sucked, example Laurent Brossoit in the Edmonton Oilers, and turn him into a competent competent goaltender in a backup role. So maybe we'll see that happen with Devin Dubnyk. I think it's worth the risk. The maximum money that I could see Devin Dubnyk getting is $1 million maximum. So anything under $1 million for 1 year of Devin Dubnyk potentially, I think could be a better option than having Eric Comrie. I would still rather have Devin Dubnyk be my backup goaltender than Eric Comrie, and at a minimum contract, I think that could be a good fit. Not to mention the fact Devin Dubnyk is still unsigned, which means there's not a lot of interest in him right now, and if he's healthy and waiting for a team to sign him, the Jets should jump on it, give him a PTO, PTO, see how he looks at training camp, like they did with Trevor Lewis last year, and Devin Dubnyk could be a very potentially good fitting option. Now, the next option is Curtis McElhinney. Now, Curtis McElhinney, on the other high side of things, is actually a little bit better of a goaltender, I would say, than what Devin Dubnyk is right now, even though he's much older than Devin Dubnyk. Devin Dubnyk right now is 35 years old. Curtis McElhinney is 38. And why I think that even though Curtis McElhinney is a great option and Devin Dubnyk is a great option, McElhinney might be better, even though he could be a little bit more costly because of that name he has. Obviously, he was great with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then going over to Carolina next year after that, leaving with team with the Maple Leafs for the last 3 years. He's spent with Carolina and the last 2 with Tampa Bay, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, let me mind you, so also has that winning mentality, which is very important, and I would like to have brought over to the Jets, because I think guys that have won the Cup are definitely more valuable than the guys that haven't. Even though they're hungry, they already have that winning experience compared to a guy that's been chasing it for 20 years. Curtis McElhinney, in the last few seasons with the Tampa Bay Lightning, that is the more important numbers to talk about, because he definitely hasn't played much. He's definitely ride the pine a lot compared to his first year with Tampa, playing 18 games, going with a record of 7-3, goals against average of .289 with a save percentage of .906. The year after that, in 2020-2021, only 12 games played, putting up a record of 4-6-2 for a goals against average of .309 and a save percentage of .875. Now, obviously, again, those aren't fantastic stats by any means, but where this comes into play of being a good backup role is that Curtis McElhinney was decent, even though not that decent, at a backup position last year to Andrei Vasilevskiy, another amazing goaltender just like Connor Hellebuyck. So having that, the ability that have won 2 cups under your belt the last few years, being on a winning team, already being a backup to an all-star goaltender, the only guy in the league that comes close to Connor Hellebuyck and is Andrei Vasilevskiy nowadays, and Connor Hellebuyck, don't come at me, those 2 are the greatest goaltenders in the NHL right now. It's not even close in my opinion, but nonetheless, both of these guys, Devin Dubnyk, McElhinney, they have a lot of value in the sense that they bring experience to that backup spot. They've already been starters last few, recently, which is also good as well. They have way more experience than what Eric Comrie is, and the most important thing is that at 35 and 38 years old, they will be cost-effective backup goaltenders. Now, I think the Jets should go out personally and sign Devin Dubnyk. I am more inclined to seeing Devin Dubnyk potentially have a rebound season on a good, competent team like the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously, San Jose is a different story and compared to Colorado, so I'm not going to really compare last season playing on different teams, because even though Colorado is a much better defensively structured team than the San Jose Sharks, I would go to say that a brand new shaped defense that the Jets have has so much potential that I would really like to see what Devin Dubnyk could do in a backup role with this new modified Jets defensive core. Now, that's just me. Maybe you would prefer to have Curtis McElhinney or somebody completely different. And with all that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below as always. If you did enjoy this video, drop a like and subscribe regardless of the team that you root for. I'm just a biased Jets fan who loves to share his thoughts on all things hockey related. So if you want to see a different fan's perspective from time to time, definitely consider dropping a subscription. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity to all you beautiful people out there. And I will see you guys very, very soon with some more Jets and hockey related news. Stay tuned, and more importantly, go Jets, go.